Welcome back to Grand Adventure. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and in this episode, we're going to explore the Uinta Mountains of northeastern Utah, so stay tuned. The Uinta Mountains follow the Utah-Wyoming border east of Salt Lake City, and with a number of peaks exceeding 13,000 feet, they're the highest mountains in Utah. They're also noteworthy for being the highest range in the contiguous United States that's oriented in an east-west direction, as most mountain ranges on the continent run north and south. These mountains are 50 to 70 million years old, and were heavily glaciated during the last ice age, although no glaciers remain today. They're dotted with innumerable small lakes, especially at the western end of the range within the Uinta Wasatch Cache National Forest. There are no roads that cross the Uintas other than the Mirror Lake Highway on the range's western end, which reaches an elevation of 10,715 feet at Bald Mountain Pass, as well as US 191 at its eastern end, connecting the town of Vernal and Flaming Gorge Reservoir within Ashley National Forest. Now, the Uintas are home to some of the best hiking in the entire state of Utah. Innumerable trails lead from the Mirror Lake Highway to explore the surrounding valleys, peaks, and ponds. The Uinta Highline Trail, popular with backpackers, runs the entire length of the Uinta Mountain Range. Countless lakes are available for both kayaking and trout fishing, and most are stocked either from trucks or from the air. There are a number of small roads that approach the Uintas from both the south and from the north, but with so few roads going into the mountain range, the opportunities for RV camping are somewhat limited. Two of our favorites, though, are Lyman Lake and Whitney Reservoir. Although in Utah, Lyman Lake is best accessed from the north slope of the Uintas via Forest Road 58 from Mountain View, Wyoming. Although most of the route is graded dirt, the final 3 miles can be rough going, but still negotiable by high-clearance rigs if you take your time. The lake itself sits at a lofty elevation of 9,300 feet. There's a youth camp at the northeastern end of the lake, but great waterfront boondocking opportunities abound along the lake's southern shoreline. A hiking trail circumnavigates the lake around the roadless north shore, affording stunning views of the high peaks of the western Uintas just a few miles to the south. ATVers will find endless miles of dirt roads and trails to explore in the area. There's a Forest Service campground at the adjacent 5-acre Little Lyman Lake, with 10 sites available at a cost of $16 per night. However, other than drinking water, fire rings, and pit toilets, we really can't see any reason to camp there when there's excellent boondocking along the south shore of the much larger Lyman Lake available for free. Now, 188 acres may not sound like much, but that's what makes Whitney Reservoir one of the largest bodies of water in the Uintas. Whitney Reservoir is also one of the few lakes off the Mirror Lake Highway that's accessible by RV and also legal for boondocking. As a result, it's very popular with RVs, even though it requires 9 miles of moderately rough dirt road to access. To get to Whitney Reservoir, at an elevation of 9,440 feet, head west off Utah 150 for 9 miles on Forest Road 32. The first few switchbacks of 32 are pretty decent, but once you top out on the plateau, at the junction of Forest Road 141, the road becomes legal for ATVs and deteriorates accordingly. The closer you get to Whitney Reservoir, the worse the road gets. Those who don't want 9 miles of rough road may opt instead to boondock along Mill City Creek, Forest Road 109, or Road Hollow, Forest Road 310, with great views of the Uinta Mountains, although they'll miss out on the reservoir at camp. Whitney is a beautiful body of water, created when a dam was built across the West Fork Bear River in 1966. Dispersed campsites are available all along the northeast corner of the lake near the dam and down the entire west side. Those along the west side offer a bit more privacy. There's exceptional trout fishing for rainbow, brook, and cutthroat, both from the shoreline or from boats with or without small motors. A pine beetle infestation means that there's plenty of deadfall available in the area for firewood. Understand, though, that this area gets very, very busy, especially on the weekends. So if you plan on staying over a weekend, make sure that you arrive very early to secure a spot. Cell phone service is virtually non-existent, yet unboosted at different points around the lake. I caught a momentary glimpse of service marked by a quick blast of incoming phone notifications. Now, boondocking in the Uinta Wasatch Cache National Forest is limited to 14 days in a 30-day period. For the remainder of that month, campers are either going to have to leave the national forest or relocate to an established campground. While boondocking in the Uintas is free, there is a recreation fee for sites along the Mirror Lake Highway, the Mirror Lake Corridor. It's $6 for a 3-day period, $12 per week, or $45 annually. Although your interagency pass, the one that you use to get into national parks, that's also valid. You can pick up the recreation passes at a fee booth along the Mirror Lake Highway, at a number of area businesses, including the Semic Smokehouse, where you can pick up some fresh jerky or smoked trout also. Personally, we can't drive up the Mirror Lake Highway without stopping at the Semic Smokehouse. For those looking for a more civilized experience, there are numerous campgrounds, Forest Service campgrounds throughout the Uinta Mountains, mostly along the Mirror Lake Highway. Now, none of them have hookups, a few of them are paved, and also a few do accept reservations. Be aware, though, that anything reached by pavement in the Uintas gets very, very, very busy in the season. We'll put a link in the video description down below to a list of these Forest Service campsites. So we hope that this video has inspired you to visit the Uinta Mountains yourself this summer. If you like this video, please give us a big thumbs up down below. If you're not yet a Grand Adventurer, we have a subscribe button right down there in the lower right corner of your screen that you can use right now. We'd be honored if you shared Grand Adventure with your friends and family. Remember that we do publish new outdoor adventure videos each and every Wednesday. So we look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you soon.